Biology, chapter 16, um, theory video. The LE gene, gibberellin, and stem elongation. So now what we are going to do is we are going to first look at the relationship between genes, that is the genotype, what kind of genes something is made up of, and the phenotype. Phenotype is the quality that is shown. So in some plants, the characteristics that are shown now in humans, we had 3-letter style gene combination that we used. But in plants, we don't use it all the time. Usually it is given a 2-letter abbreviation, right? And also it is shown in italics when printed. Some plants, the height of them is partly controlled because there are environmental factors that control the height. But in some plants, it is partly controlled by the genes. Right now, for example, in pea plant, there is a gene called LE which affects the height. There is one genotype, capital L simple E, and the other genotype is capital L simple L simple E, both simple. If the capital L simple E allele is dominant, then the plants can become tall, but it is going to be short if the plants are homozygous for the recessive alleles. That is, if they contain LE, simple LE, then it is going to remain short. So that is, the pea plant's height is defined by the presence of capital LE or simple LE allele. If the capital LE is there, then it is going to be dominant and then show a higher height. But if homozygous for the recessive allele, if the both alleles are LE, simple LE, then it is going to remain short. What happens is the dominant allele, capital L simple E gene, will regulate the synthesis of the last enzyme that produces an active form of gibberellin. So here what happens is when capital LE gene combination is there, it produces or it regulates the synthesis of active gibberellin, right? So earlier in AS level we discussed, in AS level and in O levels we discussed how gibberellin affects the gibberellin and other hormones and enzymes affect the functions of a plant. Active gibberellin will stimulate, it has different functions. Some of the functions are, it stimulates the cell division and cell elongation in the stem. So as a result, it will grow tall. As a result, it will grow tall. So as a result of the active form of gibberellin, the plant is going to elongate, the stem is going to elongate, and as a result it is going to grow tall. The recessive allele of this particular gene, that is simple L simple E, it has one nucleotide that is going to be different from the normal allele, right? The recessive allele is going to be different. One nucleotide is going to be different from the normal allele. That allele is going to code for alanine instead of threonine in one position. In the enzyme formation, when in the primary structure of the enzyme, there is, a non-functional enzyme is produced. Non-functional enzyme is produced. As a result, gibberellin is out of the question. It is not there. So there is no active gibberellin. As a result, homozygous plants, simple L, simple E, simple L, simple E, they are genetically dwarf because they don't have the active form of gibberellin, which is as a result of the formation of non-functional enzyme. Because the allele will code for alanine instead of threonine, threnonine, which is required to produce gibberellin. So as a result, homozygous plants are going to be short because gibberellin does not stimulate the growth. So what we can now, if there is another form of, if there is active gibberellin that we can apply to this plant, a short plant. Now, for example, cabbage will always remain short. We can stimulate them to grow tall by applying gibberellin. Because the only difference between the heterozygous dominant plant and homozygous recessive plant is that it does not contain the enzyme that is needed to produce gibberellin. So as a result, we will not be able to have a long plant. Write down a note on this. The capital LE gene, gibberellin and stem elongation. In plants, genes are identified by two-letter abbreviations, and some qualities of plants are controlled by their genes. Leave a line and write. For example, the height of the pea plant, PEA plant, is affected by a gene with two alleles. The dominant capital L simple E allele and recessive simple L simple E allele. Leave a line and write. The phenotype of dominant allele is a tall plant, but if the plant is homozygous for the recessive allele, within bracket simple L simple E and simple L simple E simple L simple E, then the plant will remain short. This gene can code, leave a line and write, this gene can code. This gene can code this gene can code for the formation of an enzyme which produces active gibberellin. Active gibberellin stimulates cell division and elongation in stem and makes the plant grow tall. In the recessive allele, it codes for alanine instead of threonine and results in a non-functional enzyme which cannot form active gibberellin. However, we are able to make a normally short plant such as cabbage grow tall by applying active gibberellin. I hope you understood.